Gearheads, thanks for tuning in. Dan's finally ready to sell the 1972 Malibu. So, this video is going to be a full walk around, and spoiler alert, he gets it running. And at the end, there'll be a special offer for you guys. Hey Dan, run that intro!
Hey guys, so I shot a whole intro to this video, but it got kind of blown out by the wind. I do have microphones coming, so we are investing in a better video experience for you guys out there. So I had to wipe that basically all out and redo it. So back at the house, car's still on the trailer, but this video is basically going to be the walk around of the video, showing you everything about the car, good and bad. We're going to start with walking around, showing you everything about the frame. It does have a little frame issue on the driver's side behind the wheel. We'll go over that. We'll show you the whole outside of the car, go panel by panel, show you the interior, the engine, and we know it's running. If you didn't see that video, go click on the link up top and you can check that video out. And then at the end, stay tuned till the end because we got some big news and a special offer for you. Let's get on with the video and check this car out. All right, all we need in here is the gas can, which I filled up, and the negative cables are on, so let's start her up. Alright, so as we can see, it's running, it's smoking a lot, and I'm sure it's going to need some work, so I'm going to shut it down and we'll move on with the performance. Alright, so you can see she's running, sounds pretty good, of course smoking off a bunch of old oil and stuff, but the point of this is not to get her running perfectly, and I don't want to heat her up, so we're going to shut her down. Plus, I don't want anyone to call the fire department on me because this thing is smoking so much, but let's get to looking at the frame. So we'll start here at the driver's side front. These are the mounts, the brackets for the front bumper, so those are pretty shot. Obviously those are cheap and easy to replace. This is going to be the front of the frame here on the other side. So it's got a little bit of surface rust up here, and of course where somebody had hooked it up to tow it or move it, it's got some damage there, but that's not too bad. The cross member, all the suspension is here. It does have a sway bar as well. And coming back from all of that, it's good up till this corner. You can see it's got some surface rust here. It's actually got some holes in here as well. So this would definitely need attention. This is just behind the driver's wheel. And coming down the main part of the frame is actually in pretty good shape. Looks straight, I don't see any damage. This is just in front of the rear driver's side wheel, and you see the frame looks pretty good coming back here. And there we go, brighten up a little bit and up and over. And it does have a 12-bolt rear. I don't believe it's posi, but all the rear suspension is here. It does have the original spiral shocks, and the frame back here is in pretty good shape. And back here at the back of the driver's side, frame actually looks pretty good. It's got a little pull-out where, you know, it's been tied down and stuff. The fuel tank is here. Don't really know the condition of it. Haven't checked it out. Coming over to the passenger side, frame looks similar to the other side. Don't see any major damage or rust. It does have this single exhaust pipe coming out the passenger side because it still has manifolds, but everything else up here looks pretty good. Up and over the wheel is solid. In front of the passenger wheel, same thing, frame looks pretty good, don't see any major issues. And behind the passenger wheel, coming up the frame rail, everything looks good. Coming up here to behind the passenger wheel. And from the passenger side, again, you can see the sway bar is out of its joint there, a little fitting. The steering is all there. Frame rail looks good, and coming up to the bumper mounts here, it looks okay. Now you guys know me, you know I sell cars as honest as possible. This grille needs to be replaced. The bumper looks pretty straight, but it will need re-chroming. You can also see that spot on the hood that we talked about, but we'll get to that in a minute. And starting with the body panels, this is the driver's side fender. You can see it's had some previous work at the front where the bumper is. Tiny bit of rust at the front, at the bottom. The wheel opening has some rust holes through it, and the back is pretty shot. They do make patch panels for these, or you can buy an aftermarket fender and slap it on. That's pretty much up to you. It also has this period correct mudguard, nice chrome. And it did have wheel opening molding, so the screws are here for that. It's hard to see them. Inner fender, they were plastic on these, and that's pretty much shot, as you can see, once it lightens up. There you go. So yeah, that'll need to be replaced. Rocker panels, this one looks pretty solid. It does have the holes from the molding. You usually can't tell with these things until you blast them and see what they actually look like, but I don't see any major nasty damage, which is good, but there definitely will be some. You can see some at the front here. And you can see the lip here is in pretty decent shape too. The driver's door has the usual rust on the bottom and the bottom of the front and the bottom of the back. Let's check out the inside. It does still have the original sticker, which is nice, and you can see that silver, pewter silver paint is still on the inside. The door is not complete, but it does have the glass in it, which is nice. That's one less thing you're gonna have to buy. The bottom of the door, however, is pretty rusted. I do believe they make a panel for this. It just goes up the bottom couple inches of the door, so this door should be able to be saved. Operation of the door is actually pretty good, other than noise, but it does open and close pretty well. Inside the door, you got the A-pillar up here is actually looking pretty good and pretty solid. We'll get to the windshield frame later. And we'll get to the floors later, or lack of floors, but since we're on the door jamb, this is the top of the rocker. It's pushed down here pretty bad, so it'll probably at least need an outer rocker. And then coming back to the back pillar, you can see again that original silver paint, and it looks pretty solid up here. Moving on to the driver's side quarter panel, actually a real solid piece from the style line up. From the style line down to the rocker, there's a little bit of rust at the front. Of course, the whole wheel opening is real rusted out and gone, so that would definitely need to be replaced. And then the lower rear of the quarter, the usual places Chevelle's rust out. Again, you can get patch panels for these pretty easily. And coming up the top of the quarter, top's not too bad. This is, again, a vinyl top car. Looks like all the studs are here, up there, and it's got the holes for the screws here. You do start running into some surface rust here around the window. These windows will pop out, and that's definitely going to need some attention. And up here, you can see the original lead is here, so that's going to need to be fixed, replaced, or whatever you want. There's some damage at the top corner of the driver's side quarter panel as well. I don't know why a couple of my cars I've seen have rusted here. If anyone knows, drop a line in the comments, let me know. Maybe it's because sometime the bumper hit here in a little accident and it split this and just made it worse. As soon as you get water into something like this, it's going to get worse and worse and worse, but looks pretty centralized to this corner. This is the outer wheelhouse above the driver's side rear wheel. And you see there's definitely going to be some issues inside here also from the quarter panel. This is actually the outer wheelhouse, so keep that in mind. And the driver's side of the outer wheelhouse is pretty solid until you get to the bottom where it will need some attention. And the driver's side back trunk drop down inside the quarter definitely will need to be replaced, at least at the front there. The back's not too bad. And then we'll move right on to the rear lower valance. I can get to see it. Yeah, it's got some damage over here. Definitely surface rust. I think it could be fixed if there's nothing else major going on with it. Doesn't look too bad. As previously stated, this vehicle does have a gas tank. It looks pretty solid, so you may be able to take it out and reuse it, or for safety measures, just replace it. And looking at the rear bumper, parts of the chrome look really nice. It's fairly straight on this side, but when you get to this side, it's got a big dent in it. You can see right there, it's pretty much this big. I believe that's something they can fix. You can get it re-chromed if you want to keep the original. Of course, you can buy an aftermarket one for like 150 bucks. So again, that'll be up to you. If you just want to drive it, you're good to go. Coming down the passenger side, pretty much same as the driver's side. Around the window is going to need some work. It's got the studs all there for the trim. And of course the top is fine till you get to this back corner. Same thing as the other side. It's not as bad, so tiny patch panel will take care of that. And this passenger quarter panel actually looks a little bit better than the driver's side. Of course it's got the usual rust at the front, or the back of the lip here. I'll zoom in on this quarter panel. Pretty much same thing as the driver's side. Wheel opening doesn't look bad, but I'm sure it'll be trash once you blast it and clean it up. Same thing with the outer wheelhouse. This one actually did have the chrome wheel opening molding on it, which you can see a little bit of here at the front, so there's going to be some more attention there. And then going up to the rocker, same thing, a little bit of a hole and some surface rust. Now the rocker panel on this side looks better physically, but it definitely has some damage and more holes than the other side had, especially up here underneath the door. It's got a split and all the way up to the fender also. And the B-pillar looks pretty solid. Again, you see that original pewter silver color. And come down to the rocker, it looks pretty good at the top here. This looks better than the driver's side, I would say. And then coming up the A-pillar, the hinges and everything are pretty solid. Coming up to the windshield. And this door does make a little bit more noise than the driver's door, but it does open and close. And it does have the glass, so you're all set with that. And the passenger fender actually looks like it's in really good shape. It's got a huge hole at the back and a little bit of rust around the wheel opening molding, which is still here, but the front actually looks pretty solid. I don't think this thing will need much work at all. Of course, it's going to be worse when you take that trim off and blast it, like everything else. It even has the 350 emblem, the Malibu emblem, and the front of the spear. Same thing on this wheelhouse. Again, it's plastic, so it's going to have some cracks. It's got a big warp up here. It's cracked around these bolts, so you definitely have to replace that. And the chrome molding is there on the back of the hood and the back of the fenders. Top of the fenders look pretty good, coming all the way back to the front. And these headlight buckets, fender extensions are cast. I believe they're in pretty good shape. And this one looks pretty good as well. This is not the correct lens. This is just something I had, so I put it in here. I never even screwed it in, so I should probably take that off before I lose it on the road, but it looks good. Yeah, these are all original, it looks like. I think every panel on this car is all original. You don't see any other colors than the pewter silver. So like I've said before, and like the paperwork showed, this dent, I believe, happened at the dealership. That's why it was on the original paperwork. This is pretty deep. Somebody with a lot of work and time could probably take care of fixing it. You could see they just did the cave and pave. They filled this full of Bondo and painted it. I guess it looked good for a number of years. So you can see here it's got the usual hood crease right at the middle where I guess somebody tried to close it when the hinge or the spring was a little too tight, not loosened up. That may be able to be fixed. Let's take a look at the underside. So this is what that looks like. Obviously this was designed as a crumple zone so the hood didn't cut your head off when you crashed. I believe they make pieces for this where you can cut this out and put a bar here to straighten it and strengthen it. It's even already got holes here, so maybe that's what that's for. I don't know. The rest of the hood underneath here looks pretty solid. I don't see any damage, so it may be worth trying to save this hood as an original hood. And let's take a look at the front. Oh, that sounds lovely. We can see the front lip here. You can see it does have some rust up here, but we'll probably do some panels on that and patch that together. And I think you'll be in good shape. And coming around, the windshield molding, the A-pillar has got a lot of surface rust. You also notice you're missing the lip here for the trim drip molding. It is here on this side. But around the windshield and the back glass, definitely going to have some issues. You can see there's a hole right there, so definitely plan on doing that. Of course the windshield's cracked, but it is keeping the junk out of there. And I do see some wipers, so we have those. And you can see the VIN is in there somewhere too. Now, as you know, as I said, this is was a vinyl top car. They never refinished the tops on these to save money, so it's basically been sitting out in the weather. It's got a ton of surface rust, but I think it's pretty solid, so it should be okay. Of course, around the back window, again, is going to need a lot of attention because once these windows come out, you know, there's going to be holes in there, and those tracks will need to be fixed up. We can see the package tray back here because it does not have a cover on it. And this does look pretty solid, and I think we'll be in good shape there. I do see some quarter panel damage over there at the other side of the window as well. And same thing with the back panel between the trunk lid and the glass. You can see the vinyl top used to cover most of it. You only get about 1 inch at the back, so that was painted, but this looks fairly solid. A lot of surface rust, but again, that window lip is going to need attention. And I know I'm shooting against the sun here, but this side of the roof looks pretty good too. Got some heavy pitting here. above the lead line, but overall the roof looks pretty good. I don't see any major damage, so I think we're good. The passenger side does have the full drip rail molding coming down the A-pillar. Of course, again, inside is going to need some work, but this one actually looks like it's in a little bit better shape than the other side, with a little bit of rust in there. The trunk lid itself on the top actually looks like it's in really good shape. Of course, the lock cylinder is missing, so we have the special Dan's Garage key. So we have the original trunk lid. You can see again that beautiful pewter silver paint. We got the original jacking instructions sticker that's pretty shot but really neat. The bottom of the trunk actually looks really good. We do have some rust on the driver's side corner here, and get that, there you go, that piece, and then kind of coming over a little bit. The trunk lock latch area is actually pretty solid, and the passenger side doesn't look bad either. And then coming down the passenger side, trunk lid looks like it's in actually really good shape. It's going to lead us right into the quarter panel here. See if I can get a better look at that. Alright, going into the trunk opening, the weather strip is still on most of this. I know it's a little dark, but it should lighten up in a second here. This is actually all looking pretty good at the top, and as we know, water runs downhill. But coming over to the passenger side, it does look pretty solid, and a little hole right here, which is at the passenger quarter, and coming across, looks pretty good up to the driver's side, and that's when something happened over here that completely trashed it. So from the lock latch here pretty much over is all shot down to this part, and the quarter lip here as well. Let's see if I can get a better view of that. There you go, there's a little bit better view of how destroyed that is. It's really just this corner, so it's not terrible. Now, if you watch the clean out video, all of the interior pieces, some of the engine parts and the chrome trim and everything ended up here in boxes in the trunk, but that means it's got a trunk floor, which, while it does, most of the center of the trunk is there. Of course, the entire trunk will need to be replaced. This is the extension on the driver's side. You can see my trailer. This is pretty much split up to the front. And over here, it's pretty hard to see. If you watch the clean out video, I'll put a card up top. And of course, at the end of this video, you will have the link to all of the videos on this car if you're interested in purchasing it, so you can see the condition of everything. When I clean this out, you get a lot better view of the condition of everything in the trunk. But let's go check out the interior. I'd say let's check out the interior like it has one. Okay, not really too much of an interior left in this thing. It does have all the glass. The front glass is the only glass that is not usable, I would say. The rest would probably polish up. We do have the original bucket seats in here. And one of the options it had, as I said, is the headrests. The console is not in here. It does have a transmission. You can see that because the floor is missing. Obviously, definitely would need a floor. Underneath the dash, the front of the firewall of the top looks okay. Obviously the floor is shot, needs to be replaced. The cross members look alright. It does have those retractable seat belts. The rear seat is in here as well, and those are the rocker moldings. Whether or not they're usable, I don't know. And again, like I said, it does have the option of the shoulder belts, which is a pretty cool option. The headliner is pretty much gone, but the rods are here for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does have all 5, so that's good. Those are hard to source. And the front header panel looks okay, but the trim for the, I believe that's for the vinyl top, those will need to be replaced. Actually, it had an antenna in the front windshield too. That's pretty cool. So the mileage is showing 75,471. Whether that's 175 or 275, you be the judge. You can see from the transmission indicator, you got reverse, neutral, drive, low 2, low 1. So it is a turbo 350 transmission, and you can see the vents for the AC and controls. No radio, lighter's gone, it's got the cigarette lighter. As I said before, I did put a lock cylinder in it with a new set of keys, so that works nicely and easily. And then you got your wiper washer controls. And looking around on the passenger side, pretty much the same stuff. You can see the rear floor is a little bit more solid than the front floor, but of course you'll still need to replace it. And this side, passenger front, is actually a lot more solid than the driver's side was. And of course we have our glove box door, which I think I broke, which does have, the glove box is still in it, and this does have the vehicle safety maintenance schedule. And inside the passenger door, pretty much the same as the driver's door. It does have the window and all the mechanisms, and the bottom of this door is actually in a lot better shape than the driver's door, going all the way to the back here. There is some damage here at the front of the passenger door, but that's pretty much all the rust damage on the bottom of this one. So I know some of you may be thinking, hey, you got it running. Go ahead and drive the thing. See if it's got tranny fluid. See if the brakes will work. Not really going to get into that because I'm sure that even if the brakes did work once or twice, they probably fail after that. This thing's been sitting for at least 15 years. So I have not tested the transmission. I have not tested the brakes. I'm assuming everything's going to be needing to be gone through. But it does run. Again, I don't have any fluid in it. I don't have an upper hose, so I don't really want to run it too long. But it does sound pretty good as it's running. Probably going to, go ahead and just leave it at that. And then if you buy this car from the auction, you can do what you want. And there you have it, my friends, my 1972 original pewter silver Chevelle Malibu. So 350 original numbers matching engine, turbo 350 trans, 12 bolt rear end, non-posi. I have all the original paperwork of it, the original manual, owner's manual, which has really great information in it. It's got original decals on the car, on the door jamb, on the trunk lid underneath. It's got all the options. You see here the original order form for the car. That's where it mentions that dent on the hood. That's how we know that it's the right car to that paperwork, as well as all the numbers are matching. The VIN is still on the car, and we also have the original window sticker. All right, guys, so you made it to the end of the video. I thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you could subscribe, share, get this over to other social medias, that really helps me out. Also, this car is for sale. So this is going to be the last video on the car. Obviously, the whole walk around, I got it running. This car is for sale. I do have a clean title in my name. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do a special offer to you, and only you, if you're watching this video, to make me an offer on the car. You've seen the whole thing. Make an honest offer if you're really interested in buying it. It is located in Raleigh, North Carolina. You're welcome to come look at it and pick it up, or you can send a transport if you end up buying it. But what I'm going to do is, if you want to make an offer, go ahead and send me an email to dansgaragenc@gmail.com. Put that in the description below. It should already be there anyway. If nobody makes me an offer, or I can't make a deal in 1 week's time after this video airs, then I'm going to go ahead and just put it up on Facebook Marketplace and sell it that way. So if you're watching this video after that point, then go ahead and do that. I will put the time where you can see when this video came out. It'll go on for a week. So it'll be December 7th, 2023, and run through the 14th of 2023. So after the 14th, if it does not sell, then I'll go ahead and put it on Marketplace. If you missed the time frame on this car, but you're interested in buying another car from me, go ahead and check out all the videos. If there's a particular car you're interested in, before I bring it here to the house and process it, go ahead and send me an email. It's always the best way to communicate. So other than that, I thank you for watching. Stay positive and keep on wrenching.